there is a major threat to the freedom of the internet, going beyond anything we've talked about before. The internet has been until now run by a group called ICANN, I-C-A-N-N. It stands for Internet Corporation for Assigning Names and Numbers, I-C-A-N-N. And it's a private organization that for 15 years has run the internet, basically technocrats and major internet company executives. And it's done so under a contract with the Department of Commerce in the United States, which has been very loose in its regulation of ICANN. Basically, let ICANN do what it wanted, and it's been a system that's worked awfully well. Well, the Department of Commerce announced last week that it was not going to renew the contract with ICANN. And was therefore that threw the whole question of who owns the internet, who's going to run the internet, who will administer it, into a state of total limbo. Nobody knows at this point. And the leading contender to take over the internet is the United Nations. You may recall that there was an effort we talked about here a lot, and we helped kill because of petition signatures, for the internet to be taken over by the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, an agency within the United Nations that now supervises transatlantic and trans-Pacific phone calls and satellite orbits. It's headed by a communist, a guy named Hamouddin Touré, who's from Mali in Africa, but was educated in Brezhnev's 1980 Soviet Union, getting his master's degree in Leningrad and his doctorate in Moscow. The number 2 guy at the agency is from China. And Russia and China have both moved strongly to put internet governance in the assigning of names under the ITU. The United States and Europe objected, led by most of the internet companies. And a treaty was signed in Dubai in 2012 by 89 countries turning control of the internet over to the United Nations and giving the UN through the ITU the power to assign domain names, to withdraw them, to reveal to the host countries who is behind each name, to give the host countries the capacity to censor the internet within their borders, and to tell them that it was okay to charge their nationals huge fees to access any foreign websites so that they tend not to do it. Now, fortunately, US and Europe refused to sign the treaty. Only 89 countries did, not 186. But nevertheless, the treaty exists, and it's a very possible repository for the internet. This would be a disaster. It would mean that the most autocratic countries in the world, who voted with those 89, Iran and Syria and Russia, China, all of those, would now have control of the internet within their borders, and the ability to assign domain names, and the ability to penetrate through domain names and get the names of the dissidents who had set them up and persecute them if they wished. There is no alternative to this. Nobody has come up with an alternative option. The Commerce Department just dropped this issue into the public last week, and everybody's scrambling to try to figure out how do we keep it away from the United Nations. You'll find attached to this video a petition to urge the Congress to take action to bar the internet from being given to the United Nations and to continue American protection of the freedom of the internet. Now, we've had other videos talking about the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, trying to exert control over the internet, and we've been opposed to that. But this is a different issue. The Commerce Department has never sought to impose serious controls. They've just kind of protected it from everybody else. And that's exactly the arrangement that should continue. And the freedom of the internet hinges on it. Thanks.